You're listening to Change Your POV podcast, episode 33. And the military, unlike any other organization I've been a part of, really values that rich history. And at the end of the day, you are superseding the men and women that fought before you, that served on battlefields long before you. To not know a little bit of that lineage and that history, you're kind of doing everybody that served before you a little bit of a disservice, you know?
Right.
Welcome to Change Your POV podcast, helping you navigate transitions in your life, like entering and exiting college or the military, changing jobs or careers, and providing you with the coaching and mentorship needed to help you advance in your personal or professional life. Sometimes all you need is to change your point of view. Now, here's your host, Eddie Lazary.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Change Your POV podcast. I'm your host, Eddie Lazary, and I'm here with Bennett Tatton. Today is the second part of our four-part series of pre-military. Tonight, we're going to talk about what you should probably know, or the knowledge you should have prior to going into the military, regardless of what branch that may be. So with that note, before we get going, I'd like to thank our sponsors, and that's Audible.com. Audible.com has over 180,000 different titles in their library, and you, too, could have your own subscription and get your own audiobooks to listen to commuting to and from work, mowing your grass, shoveling the snow, whatever you got going on. Head over to changeyourpov.com/free book for your free 30-day trial and your free audio download. All right. How you doing, Bennett?
Good, man. You?
I'm doing fantastic, man. I'm excited that the weather is starting to turn warmer and be done with this winter stuff.
We actually had a cold day today down here in Delaware.
Yeah, it was cold here too.
But the sun was out all day.
Yeah.
And I guess it's supposed to snow tonight.
Is it really?
Yeah, we'll see.
Ugh.
An inch to 3, which big deal, but down, you know. It's not a big deal to us, but maybe it is to some of these people here, but not really. I mean, we get snow here, but it's different. It's not like it's not like New England or anything. So
right, this has been the lightest winter on record in a long time. So
sweet.
I'm not complaining. People that are like diehard skiers or whatever, they're not happy.
No, but oh well.
Yeah,
hey,
oh well.
That's why they can make snow.
That's right. All right, so let's get right into this. So those of you that are thinking about joining the military and you're kind of are just curious, you're dipping your toes in the water and you just kind of want to see what it's about, different things you may need to know or whatever, or perhaps you've already decided, yep, I'm gonna join. You know, I got a whole bunch of family that were in the military, and I'm gonna carry on that lineage. And or perhaps maybe you've already enlisted and you're in the delayed entry program. You've got like your senior year you got to finish out of high school before you head off to boot camp, basic training, whatever. So last week, if you haven't listened to that episode, it's episode 31, pre-military series, where we covered preparation. Tonight, we're going to talk about knowledge. What are some things you should know prior to going into your boot camp phase of this chapter in your life? So I got a list of things, Bennett. I know you got a whole bunch of things, so we're just kind of go down the list here. Feel free to interject to share your experiences with our audience. So the first one I have written down here is researching your branch history. So if you're joining the Army or the Navy or the Air Force, the Marine Corps, or even the Coast Guard, you should probably know a little bit about the history of the branch. Wouldn't you say?
I would. So, I mean, yes, you should probably know something. I know I can only speak for the Marine Corps because I never went to any other boot camp, but they're going to bombard you with knowledge in especially Marine Corps history. And you have to pass the test or you don't get to finish going through boot camp. And I actually think they give you 2 tests, and it's everything. It's basically a nice long lesson in Marine Corps history. And if you don't get an 80% or better, they're sending your ass home.
Yeah, and we're not saying this because we want you to show up to boot camp your first day and be Mr. Gee Whiz, drill sergeant. I want to show you. I want to marvel you with my knowledge, right?
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, don't be that guy. We just want you to be, when they say, when was the Army founded? You're not like 1492, right?
Right, exactly.
Like, no, that's when Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue, right?
Exactly.
So you got to kind of know, when your branch was established, like maybe some major battles would be helpful.
Yeah.
Different things. I mean, I'm not talking about pulling out the entire encyclopedia of the United States Army or the Marine Corps or the Navy, but you got to be a little bit knowledgeable about the branch that you're joining. You should want to be knowledgeable. You should want to get in the know, so to speak, because every branch, regardless what it is, has a very rich history. And the military, unlike any other organization I've been a part of, really values that rich history. And at the end of the day, you are superseding the men and women that fought before you, that served on battlefields long before you. And so you're kind of like a relay race. You're kind of, the baton is being passed to you. You're carrying the torch, so to speak. To not know a little bit of that lineage and that history, you're kind of doing everybody that served before you a little bit of a disservice,
Right. Yeah, a little bit.
All right. So the next thing there I'm going to talk that we should probably be aware of is a little bit of research about your MOS. And for those of you that are curious what MOS stands for, that's your military occupational specialty. So that's the job that your recruiter talked you into. Perhaps you knew what you wanted and you fought for it and you got it. Or perhaps you had an idea what you wanted to do and your recruiter changed your mind, or whatever the case may be. But that's the job that you're going to be doing when you're in the service. So it's probably a good idea to do some research about it, because speaking from personal experience, I was convinced that I was going to be a firefighter when I joined the Army. And my recruiter convinced me of such things. The title of my job was a fire support specialist. What turns out that has nothing to do with fighting fires, and it's got everything to do with creating fires, like artillery fires, calling for indirect fire.
That's
So
hysterical.
I didn't learn this until I'm in my AIT.
I never knew that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm sitting in my,
Holy
I'm sitting in
shit.
my,
Oh,
yeah.
shit.
So I'm sitting in my AIT class. We start doing like map reading, and we got this, the compass and all that shit, and the protractor. We're learning 6-digit grids. And I'm looking around at everybody, and I'm like, why do we got to know
like,
this?
what the fuck? What? I'm gonna be smoke jumping or something.
Yeah.
What the fuck's going down here?
I'm like, when are we gonna start learning how to put out fires?
Yeah, that's fucking awesome.
I
Holy fucking Joe moment.
Yeah, man. I thought I was in the wrong class.
Shit, that is
I went to my
fucking
drill
great.
sergeant. I said, drill sergeant. I'm standing at parade rest, right? Drill sergeant. I think I'm in the wrong class.
That's
He goes, what class do you think you're in? I was like, I was supposed to be a firefighter drill sergeant. I was the laughing stock of that class for a while.
Oh man.
Yes.
Shit.
So figure out, I mean, there's such a thing these days as Google, right? Bing, Yahoo, pick one. It don't matter.
And let me give you guys, the listening audience, just a piece of advice. Don't roll into like a Navy recruiter being like, I want to be a Navy SEAL. Right. Don't roll into the Army being, I want to be Special Forces. I'm just saying. Right.
Right.
Because
that's not how you
you got to start somewhere. See, this is what Hollywood does to these people. I mean, like, no. When it comes down to it, not everybody can be from like Tears of the Sun or Act of Valor. You know what I mean? or the Guardian. You know, not everyone's jumping out of helicopters like Kevin Costner and freaking, saving people. And what's that other kid? Ashton Kutcher.
Ashton Kutcher, yeah.
Now, the other thing, I can't really think of any good Air Force movies though.
Oh, like Top Gun?
You? No, but that's
Navy.
Navy.
That's Navy.
See, so I can't think of any. I mean, maybe like Broken Arrow, which is horrible. Or other than that, I'm like thinking like Iron Eagle, like Lou Gossett Jr. back in the day, Air Force.
Yeah.
And there's like 5 of those movies: Iron Eagle 1, 2, 3, and at least 3. But other than that, dude,
poor Air Force.
Air Force. Like what, a Flight of the Intruder, maybe.
Oh no, they got Starship Troopers.
I guess. Well, those guys are still technically Marines. They're Space Marines.
Space. That's awesome.
Or whatever.
Space
hey, and if you've never read that book, fucking read it before you go into the military. Trust me.
Oh yeah, it's better. It's way better than the movie.
Way better than the movie. So like Navy, you got that. Top Gun, Medal of Honor or Men of Honor. That was actually a pretty good movie. Men of Honor. And then what do you got for the Army? Black Hawk Down. See, can't all be Rangers.
Right. We Were Soldiers, but that was more of a kind of a World War II helicopter movie.
Well, that was Vietnam.
Yeah, Vietnam.
Saving Private Ryan, it's good, but it still gives you ideas of shit that's going down. Platoon, Band of Brothers for the Army, and then Pacific for the Marines. And then if you're going into Marines, you'll probably watch Full Metal Jacket a good 60,000 times before you go in. So
we're not saying we recommend watching these movies to get acclimated with the military, because a lot of these Hollywood renditions of the military are, let's just say, they're not accurate.
Right. So basically, what I'm saying is, go ahead and watch these movies. Yeah. But don't think that that's what's going to happen.
Right.
All right. That's all.
Right. Unless you're watching the part about the dude in Full Metal Jacket, where he's in there like mopping the latrine floor. Yeah, you're definitely gonna do that.
Yeah.
Not with your weapon in your mouth, but just with
the mopping and stuff. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely. Yep. All right. So research your MOS. Figure out what the hell your job is, and don't just watch the highlight reels. Like, try to find some people on Facebook that have that MOS and talk to them a little bit. Be like, yo, I'm about to join the Army, or I'm about to join the Marine Corps, and here's my MOS. Like, what can you tell me about it?
Actually, I can give you a really good resource. Bloodstripes.com. For the Marine Corps, bloodstripes.com. It is a Marine Corps development, career development, professional development website. If you go on there and ask questions, these guys will be more than happy to answer your questions.
Nice. And if you go on the changeyourpov.com and you leave a comment anywhere there, myself and Bennett will be more than happy to answer Army questions for sure.
For sure.
And I'll try to find some other resources for the other branches, maybe throw it on the show notes page of this so you got something to go to. But you can always find groups, tons of groups on Facebook. Now, just be cautious. You're going to go on those groups. You're going to find all different flavors of the rainbow of people. You're going to find people that love it, people that are bitter and hate it. You're going to get a whole bunch of everything. Just like anything, right? It doesn't really matter. No matter what you do, there's going to have extremes of people on there. Yep. So, learn your chain of command.
And know the rank structure too.
Yes, rank structure and chain of command. So, unlike a lot of companies in the civilian world, in the military, you actually can trace your chain of command from you all the way up to the President of the United States. Like in the Army, if you're a private, you're going to have a team chief, and then a squad leader, and then a platoon sergeant, and then a first sergeant, and then a command sergeant major, and then brigade command sergeant major, and then you're going to have your division command sergeant major, right? And then you're going to go work your way up, and you're going to get into the Secretary of Defense to, all the way up to the President of the United States. So you're obviously not going to know who your team chief and your squad leader and your platoon sergeant are in basic training, but you should at least know, at a minimum, who the President of the United States is, perhaps maybe who the vice president of the United States is, and maybe who the Secretary of Defense is. Those are things that might be. Let's just say they might come in handy when you go to basic training.
And even if you're really feeling froggy, know who the secretary of your branch is as well. Secretary of the Army,
there you go.
Navy,
yep,
Air Force. I don't know. There's not a secretary of the Coast Guard, and there isn't a secretary of the Marine Corps because it's part of the Navy. So,
right.
The Coast Guard is under DHS though, so technically it's not under DOD. But yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So you don't need to commit 50 names to memory, but you should at least be familiar with 5 or 6. Absolutely. Yep. And all this stuff is very, very accessible online. You just go and type, chain of command, United States Army, or chain of command, Navy, or whatever. And you're just going to probably get a whole structure of individuals. All right. Now, this is going to sound silly to some, but I saw it firsthand when I went to basic. A lot of guys show up there and mommy did their laundry their entire life and they had no idea how to wash their own clothes. So just going to give you a little bit of tip. When you go to basic training, there's no laundry service. Okay. There's no valet parking. You're going to have to do your own shit. Okay. Unless you can convince somebody to do your dirty laundry for you, which by the way, you're not going to find that person. You got to do it yourself or you're going to live in dirty clothes. And take it from me, you do not want to be the one showing up in formation wearing stinky, nasty clothes, because that will be the last thing you'll ever do. You'll be made an example of very quickly. More than likely. So, if you don't know how to do your own laundry, I recommend you probably grab somebody, whoever's been doing your laundry all these years, and say, hey, give me a class on how to do my laundry, and you should probably start doing your own laundry right now. Get familiar with it. The other thing is how to iron your own clothes. Now, you're not gonna really need to iron clothes in basic training and AIT. However,
anymore.
Right, right. But when you get to your permanent duty station, you're going to need to know how to iron your clothes. Maybe not your whatever they call them now. I had BDUs and ACUs when I was in. Not ACUs, BDUs and DCUs, the desert camouflage. And I don't even know if you can iron those these days.
I don't even think you need to. I think that's kind of the point, right?
I think so. But you're still going to have like the undershirt of your dress blue uniform that you're going to have to iron. Now, there are options when you get to permanent duty station. You can obviously take those types of clothes to, the cleaners or whatever. And there's a lot of really good, really cheap cleaners in and around military bases. So you don't necessarily have to do that yourself when you get to your permanent duty station. But man, when you're in a pinch and you find out last minute from your team chief that you're going to a soldier of the month board or something like non-commissioned officer of the month board, and you got to get something, ironed up real quick.
Just have some stuff. I just recommend having stuff done and in your wall locker as it is. And you know what? Get it dry cleaned and leave it in the plastic.
In the plastic, yep.
That's it.
Absolutely.
I used to have extra stuff like extra.
Oh, I did too. Like everyone gets issued like a certain number of everything. So I think when I was in, we had the green still, right? And so I think we got 2 of the green short sleeve shirts and 2 of the long sleeve shirts. But yeah, I went and bought like extra. I bought like 3 of each extra. Just like you said, just
put them in there.
To your point, just put them in there.
Have them in there, and then if you've got to pull them out, you've always got an oh shit set of a uniform.
That's right. You got extra. I went and got extra nameplates made, extra ribbons, extra everything.
It's worth it. It might not seem like it at first, but trust me, or like inspection stuff as well. I think I had a whole inspection set of gear. Not everything, but a lot of the things. Like this crap that would take forever to get clean if you actually stuff you actually used in the field.
Right.
That would just suck to actually have to clean every time. No. Yeah. Just get a whole nother set of it.
That's right.
Those are the little tricks.
Right. You'll learn all those.
Exactly.
Yep. The next one, phonetic alphabet. Oof. Right. Phonetic alphabet, for those of you that are curious. Now don't sit down with your Uncle Joey, who is a police officer,
No, hell no.
and have him teach you the phonetic alphabet, because police departments, fire departments, corrections officers, all those military slash types jobs, civilian jobs, have a different phonetic alphabet than the military. Okay, so the good thing is, though, the phonetic alphabet in the military spans all branches.
Yes.
So it's the same phonetic alphabet regardless whether you're joining the Marine Corps, the Navy, the Army, doesn't matter. But the military phonetic alphabet is different than like police phonetic alphabet. So just Google it. Just make sure you're looking at the right one.
Military phonetic alphabet.
Yeah, so it's going to be Alpha Bravo. If you see something like boy and cat
Adam,
and
George, Bob.
yeah,
When they start using names and stuff, not
right.
good.
So it's Alpha Bravo Charlie Delta. That's what you're looking for. And that's important to know because no matter what job you have in the military, there's going to be call signs, there's going to be radio communications, there's going to be map reading, there's going to be just a whole different level of communication. And phonetic alphabet is not only important for when you're speaking on the radio, but a lot of the acronyms are based around the phonetic alphabet as well. For example, you'll hear things like Charlie Mike. Now, Charlie Mike phonetically is CM, but it stands for Continue the Mission. Wilco, WILCO, that's an acronym, but you don't say, Whiskey, India, Lima, Oscar. You say Wilco. So you'll get familiar with the different acronyms, what's said phonetically and what isn't. But it's important to know. You'll pick up on it eventually, but you need to at least have the basics when you go to basic. There you go, basic.
Just it'll help you when you get there.
Yes. When we had in my basic, we actually had a couple of times where we had like a round robin down in the breezeway. They had these different stations set up with drill sergeants at each station, and you'd rotate around. And one station, they'd have flashcards that would have the phonetic alphabet. Another station would be flashcards, and it would have like the ranks, pictures of the different ranks, and you had to, tell them what rank the card they were holding up, type of thing. And you just go around to these round robins, and if you failed any of the event, it's basically a go no go kind of thing. But you're doing a hell of a lot of push-ups if you got anything wrong. The next one, military time, right? When we say military time,
24-hour clock.
Right.
Not a 12-hour, a 24-hour.
So you're not going to say things like 9 p.m. You're going to say 2100. You're not going to say, 6 a.m. You're going to say 0600. So get familiar. It's pretty easy. You just go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 1300 is 1 o'clock. 1400 is 2 o'clock. 1500.
Yeah, it sounds easy, but a lot of people have issues with it. So I guess the way that it clicked in my head was take the number like 2100 and subtract, or 21 and subtract 12.
Right.
And that'll give you what time it is. And, I found the other way easier, but some people, that's the way that they think. So,
what I did is I got, back in those days, people actually wore watches. Right. And I had and you could do this on your phone too. You can change your phone from 12 hours to 24 hour, or if you still wear a watch, a digital watch that is, then change it from 12 to 24. If you have an alarm clock, change it. So anywhere you've got a digital clock, change it. Even on your computer, you can change it. Everywhere you got digital clock, change it to 24-hour. It'll get you used to seeing it, and then try to use it, a little bit before you head off to basic, and it'll help you out. The next one is rank structure. We kind of already talked about this, but there's 3 basic structures of rank. You have the enlisted ranks. That's basically when you're talking about pay grades, it starts with an E, like E1, E2, E3. E is enlisted, and then 1, 2, 3 is basically the rank that you obtain throughout your time in service. And then you've got your warrant officer, and that starts with a W, so like a W1 or W2, W3, same kind of a thing. And then you've got your officer ranks, and that's O1, O2, O3. And so the E, the W, and the O stand for what kind of structured rank you are. So if you're enlisted, you sign the dotted line and you join the Army or the Navy or whatever, you're going to start out pretty much as an enlisted person. Unless you go to ROTC, you go to college, you get your four-year degree, and then you head off to officer candidate school or whatever branch calls it, whatever. What does the Marine Corps call officer
OCS,
school?
same thing.
Oh, okay. Yep. And then you become an officer. So you're going to be an enlisted person. So you should probably start off by at least understanding the enlisted ranks. Do yourself a favor and maybe learn as many of the officer ranks as you can. It's really not that difficult.
It's easy to break down. The Marines, the Army, and the Air Force, the officer ranks are all the same. The only ones that are different are the Navy and the Coast Guard, and the Navy and the Coast Guard are the same. For the officers, okay?
Right.
Now the enlisted ranks are all different. Except for the Marines and the Army are pretty close. But there's just some different there's slight differences, but yeah. And if you're a Marine, don't call a staff sergeant a sergeant. It's always a staff sergeant, full rank, anything,
Well, that's the difference between what's called the rank and the title of address.
Correct. Yes,
right?
Exactly.
So the rank is E6 in the Army. The title of address is sergeant, but in the Marine Corps, the rank is E6, but the title of address is staff sergeant. Even though in the Army,
technically E6, they are staff sergeant, but
they're both staff sergeant, but you don't say staff sergeant in the Army, but you do in the Marine Corps. But it's weird. So yeah, you can Google that as well. Google it up. Whoa, sound like you just swallowed your phone.
No, I'm good.
All right, so that's really what I
swallowed your phone.
Sound like you swallowed your phone. So to recap, all right, so you're going to want to have as much knowledge as you can before you head off to basic training, regardless of what branch you are enlisting in. So to recap, you should probably do a little bit of research about your branch history. Know a little bit about when it started, how it started, maybe some battles that branch has fought in. Don't be ignorant. Don't go
don't be ignorant, but don't roll in there like you know it all either.
Right. Yeah, there's a fine line between being knowledgeable and being arrogant. Yep. Right. Research your MOS. Know what you're getting into. Make sure your recruiter told you the truth. Do some research. It's not hard.
Make sure your the MOS that you want to go into is the MOS that you're going into.
Right.
Because it can. Oh my God. But anyway.
All right. Chain of command. Know a little bit about your chain of command, starting with the President of the United States and working your way down as far as you can, at least to your branch secretary, if your branch has one. Learn how to do your own laundry. I know it's a crazy thing to say, but I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of people that.
Now let me ask you: the Army? Did you have to do your own laundry in the Army in boot camp?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, we didn't have to in the Marines.
What?
Yeah.
What the hell did you do?
We threw it all in a laundry bag, turned it all in. They did it and then turned it back, gave it back to us. The drill instructors didn't do it. They had laundry at, you know what I mean? We turn it in on like Wednesday and we would get it back on like Friday.
Oh wow. Huh.
So that's something kind of, the Marines always get boned. So that's something good, right? You don't have to do your own laundry if you join the Marine Corps. At least until you're out of boot camp.
Yeah. Well, it's been like, I don't know, shit, I joined in 96, so it's probably different now.
I have no idea.
Now you probably just go to boot camp for basic training, whatever, and you sit in your chair and the drill sergeants go and do all the obstacles for you. They do all the push-ups and the APFT for you, and they just let you.
Because you had like 100-pound ruck and ran both ways uphill.
That's right. Barefoot.
With just a PT belt on. That's it.
That's it. Yep. Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
No? All right. So here's really quick. Ready? So there I was. No shit. I was up to my neck in grenade pins and spoons, surrounded by the enemy. Wearing nothing but a neck gaiter, and it wasn't around my neck. And you ask me, was I scared? Hell yeah, I was scared. Scared I was going to catch a cold. Oh,
shit.
These are the stories we used to tell around the campfire that we didn't have out on the field in Fort
Yeah,
Hood.
that I never had. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yes. Okay. So, hey, learn how to do your own laundry. Unless you're in the Marine Corps, then you're pampered and you don't have to worry about it.
That's right.
Learn how to iron your own clothes. You may not ever have to use that, but it's a skill that's probably one worth having. Phonetic alphabet. Learn how to say your ABCs, right? The correct way.
That's right.
Military time. There are 24 hours in the day, not 12. And rank structure, because you got to know who your boss is and who in the hell you're talking to, because that's kind of important.
Yeah.
And there's a ton of other things that we could talk about being knowledgeable before you go in. But if you start with these basics, you will do fine.
Yeah, and if you have questions, give us a holler.
Amen. So that's it, man.
It is.
Thank you for any other thing you want to add?
I don't think so. I think we're good. I think that's a good start for anyone.
Yep, for anyone. Yep. Start with the basics. That's it.
Yeah.
You can find all of the show notes for this episode at changeyourpov.com/episode 33. And if you missed out last week's, the first part, then check out changeyourpov.com/episode 31. Never miss an episode. Hit subscribe on your podcast player of choice. We have a lot great content headed your way. If you want to reach out to me directly, ask me a question, you can email me at eddie@changeyourpov.com. I would love to hear from you. Until next time.
Thanks for listening to Change Your POV podcast with Eddie Lazary. Check out more content by going to changeyourpov.com. And remember, your ability and willingness to change your point of view will open doors of opportunity.